Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, group publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and welcome to If Walls Could Talk. It's such an honor to have with me today Steve Slepcevic, the CEO of Strategic Response Partners. Steve, thanks so much for joining me.
Jill, thank you for having me on your show.
Well, Steve, there's no doubt you are the person when it comes to storms, when it comes to crisis management. You are the one that handles it all just the best. And there's a lot going on right now with hurricane season. What is the current situation? What does everybody listening need to know?
So this one's going to be a little difficult to predict. You have the two hurricanes out there in the ocean right now, the Atlantic, and it's as if it's one of those rare phenomenons where there's going to be a pushing and pulling. So the weather reports are going to be a little not as accurate until it gets a little closer to making landfall. So for me, when I'm looking at these type of hurricanes, and I've been tracking them for over 30 years, from with some of the best forensic meteorologists that do predictive modeling. So even us, we have a separate team of meteorologists. That's all they do. Aside from what the news is saying, we're looking at what is going to be the actual ground zero of it, and putting teams ahead of it in that place before the hurricane makes landfall. So this one is going to be really hard to predict. Once it comes out of the Caribbean and it's on open water, you're going to have a better feel of where it's at. So realistically, sometime on Sunday, you're going to get a better model of where that target zone is, as to where the impact's going to be. And also, people talk about that there's some shear, there's some dry air that could be mixed in it with could keep this hurricane from not reaching a major cat. But what I've seen more and more is the rapid intensification of hurricanes. So I always say, don't take it off the table. Be aware typically right now from Savannah, Georgia to Kitty Hawk. That's the area right now of concern.
Okay, very good. So if you're a contractor in those areas or even anywhere across the country, I mean, what should every contractor be doing on a consistent basis to stay prepared?
Well, first and foremost, when it talks about evacuations, people say it's a low category storm. It's not a severe type scenario. But the situation, it's the floodwaters that are concerned, and it's also the rain-wrapped tornadoes that are in there. And if you're in an area where you can't get out of that zone, you're not going to get medical help. Medical services shut down. Law enforcement services shut down. So you're going to be dealing with some serious issues that could really create a more life safety issue with power lines down, nails all over the road, and you trying to get out at a last minute type scenario could put you in serious harm's way of lines coming down, trees coming down. And I've seen a lot of people killed on the highways with jackknife trucks, power poles coming down on a vehicle, stuff that just really doesn't need to happen,
Yeah.
Then when we talk about preparedness, what can contractors do? A lot of times contractors in those hurricane zones, they're like, well, we got this. We've been through this type of stuff before, but they don't have fuel cells delivered to their property, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have a contract in place to bring the fuel cells in or stage it in a Cat 5 structure, a concrete structure on a trailer, ready to pull out of that structure that's near their location, right? Because the trucks need to be fueled. And if the power's out of that area for 2 weeks, where are their trucks going to service what clients? Then do they have tire repair kits in their vehicles? Do they have gas meters that their guys are carrying? Do they have a hot stick on them so when they're stepping out of a vehicle, if the power line's down and it's being re-energized, someone's not being electrocuted, right?
Right.
So those are one of the many things that people can do in that process. We have a deployment checklist that we have for every one of our team members. We have Pelican cases, the Pelican Airs, we keep them light as to what is the gear for emergency lights, tow straps, tire repair kits, chainsaws, things that we need to know that we need to be able to clear the path to get to where we need to get to for our clients. Then, of course, it goes into the communication. The mobile Starlinks, I find now to be some of the best. Why? Because you could use your regular phone and you're getting your email, your data, and your mobile Starlink sitting on top of your vehicle. Now, you can't, they say you can be moving with it, but once you get past like 10, 15 miles an hour, it starts to get kind of sketchy. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's good to have it. because now you have comms on all your locations and you're able to service the clients. Then stocking up on materials, right? Because one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of times with contractors is they're not stocked well enough to go be able to respond to it. They run out of materials real quick. All the supply houses are completely wiped out. Now they have a massive backlog. They have the people to do the work, but they're losing jobs because they didn't pre-stage equipment and material to service and respond to that client. You know, be it shrink wrap, be it drywall, be it whatever they need to be able to have it pre-staged in a location because they know the work's going to be there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so Steve, in your experience over the years of all these hurricanes, when a major hurricane comes in, what's the longest you've seen an area be out without power?
Well, the longest I've seen one area be out without power was in the bayou areas. Those areas didn't get power up for 3 months because of some of the infrastructure that was wiped out. It was on its third month that they finally got power restored, right?
Yeah, that's
Typically, I
overwhelming.
see, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks typically, right?
Okay.
But if there's some serious infrastructure issues to be able to get that systems up into that area,
Right.
it could be much longer. And especially if it's a critical infrastructure, that is why the critical infrastructure we handle, we're the ones that are bringing in the temp power
Hmm.
for the hospitals, for the private airports, you know what I mean, for the fire departments, municipalities, the school districts, or the areas that like the logistics centers that can't go down. You know, it's amazing on how people say, oh, we have a system in place, we have a backup generator, and then everything fails. And then they're like, it's a Hail Mary when they're calling SRP. And
Yeah.
we're delivering because we have a massive network of vendors that are responding to that thing. They're very well dialed in, and we've done it 35 plus years now.
Yeah, it's amazing how the experience that you have. I'm always in awe, and I really feel like people just contractors in general, they just take it for granted that they're not gonna be without power for that long, and we all know it. After a few days, things just start to go haywire with just everybody. When you can't have power, or there's no gas, you can't have food, whatever that might be. But listen, Steve, what I want to close this out with, because what you do is so important, and everybody always asks me. So they hear what you have to say, they get really excited, they do some planning on their own, but I don't. People always ask me, Jill, how do we work with Steve? Because I know you have a really cool partner program that everybody needs to know about. What is that, and how do people work with you? How can they partner with you when there's a critical storm that's come through and everyone needs help?
Yeah, so I'm a relationship guy. And the thing is, I'm the guy that's got a guy, right? So in those relationships around the country, having done storm work for so many years, and sitting down and meeting the different contractors across the country, looking at their facilities, seeing how they operate, start them out referring them a smaller job, then a bigger job, then a bigger job, right? And watching how they perform for our clients. We do disaster planning for some of the biggest commercial, industrial asset owners around the country every year, auditing their insurance, putting together an incredible comprehensive response plan that includes additional medics, paramedics, additional security teams, bringing in the fuel cells, the distro, the power, everything, right? Setting up base camps for a lot of these organizations. I count on the vendors that are part of our program to bring them into that opportunity. The contractors that are doing the interiors of the buildings, right? That are doing the TIs for the shopping centers, the mitigation companies that are coming in that are doing the remediation, the drying, right? The roofing contractors are coming in there to put the temp roof in, and in most cases, the complete re-roof. The owner's like, you know what? I'm just going to go with the roof, re-roof on it. Many times, the roofer that they're trying to get a hold of in that local area that they have a relationship with is unresponsive.
Yeah, especially if there's no power, right?
And then the other part of it is I treat the SRP vendor network as a family. So when I go in there, I'm representing the client, managing the whole loss. The vendor that's doing the roof is an SRP vendor. Here's 5 vendors, client, choose who you want, right? The client's like, I have these 5 vendors. I'm like, well, I have a vendor I feel that can do a better job for you, but you're a choice. So it's not like I'm bringing them into that opportunity. They're sitting at the table with the asset owner. Then I'm bringing in the guy, the contractor that's doing the mitigation. Then I'm bringing in the contractor that's doing all the TI work on the interior, all the walls and ceiling work, flooring. And so that entire turnkey project is being managed by SRP.
Got it.
right? From before the storm happens to setting up the floodgates, boarding it up, putting security teams on it, bringing in the base camp, the fuel, the temp power. And so the contractors, when they show up, they're like, wow, this is a beautifully set up job site.
Yeah, it's easy.
Got a command post, got a check in for security. I can drop my materials off here. The doors are open. I don't have to worry about people's tenants' belongings being stolen. All the contents are being packed out. Oh, this is great. Instead of the contractor go, well, I don't do contents. And then the client goes, well, I just called my insurance company up and they have one of the other contractors on their program is going to do it all. That contractor just got blown out of that job.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
so controlling it, managing the vendors on it. So yeah, I mean, I encourage any vendor that is listening to this, whether it be a high-end residential or they're doing a critical infrastructure like a hospital. There's different tiers and categories of stuff that come in for our clients across the country. And this is nationwide. I mean, in California, we have a private firefighter service. So we put up fire pumps. We have a team that we deploy to those properties to do structure protection. And we saved a lot of homes and businesses in the Malibu Palisades area, as you're aware of.
Oh, yeah.
Then behind it was the environmental, the restoration remediation contractors, the painting guys, and the roofing contractors, which some of them you knew, that we brought into some signature properties for them to completely do the re-roofs for them, So, yes.
Yeah, you definitely are one-stop shop. Steve, if anybody has any questions on how to get involved, where do they go? What's the website?
The website is SRP, the number 24.com. Strategic Response Partners 24 is what it stands for, SRP24.com. And they can email me directly.
Yeah, what's your email?
Steve at SRP24.com. I always make myself available. And if anybody wants a deployment checklist or disaster plan template for their business or their personal home, feel free to email me at response@srp24.com, because there's other individuals that are associated to that. And they'll be specific if it's a business plan or if it's a personal plan. And I'll just share with your audience of how I do what I do, because this is tested and proven after many deployments, from fires to hurricanes, tornadoes to flooding. Yeah. And equipment and resources we use that I find to be very instrumental and useful.
I love it. I love it. Well, I always enjoy talking with you, Steve. There's always something happening that needs everybody. You got great information all the time. So again, everybody, if you don't have a disaster plan in place, reach out to Steve for that checklist. It's always great to have. Again, Steve, thank you so much for your time. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com or wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content. Follow us on our social media channels, but most importantly, stay safe and healthy, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks again, Steve.
Thanks, Jill.